Hello students, now we are going to start the next chapter, gravitation. In this chapter we'll study the planet's motion, Kepler's law of planetary motion, the effect of height and depth on the gravity, acceleration due to gravity, the potential energy of the earth and this gravitational field of the earth, escape velocity and some satellite motion. So we'll start with the Kepler's law. Kepler has given three laws for the motion of the planets around the sun. First law is law of orbits. And as per this law, all planets move in elliptical orbits with the sun situated at one of the foci of the ellipse. Copernicus has given the law that all orbits, they are revolving around the sun in circular orbit. But after long observation, Kepler has given this law that these orbits, they have the shape of ellipse, not circle. So all these planets, they are revolving around the sun in the elliptical orbit, and sun is at one of the foci of this ellipse. So sun is here. This is generally the ellipse they have the two foci. So sun is at one of the foci of this ellipse. This is the law of the orbits. Second law is the law of areas. So here the line that joins any planet to the sun sweeps equal area in equal intervals of time. This law comes from the observations that planets appear to move slower when they are further from the sun than when they are nearer. So generally, we can say this aerial velocity is remaining constant when the planets move around the sun. So how we can explain it? So this is the line joining the sun with the planet. You see, when the planet is revolving around the sun, this area which is swept by this position vector of the planet with respect to sun, this will sweep equal area in equal interval of time. And you see, when the planet is far away, it is moving slower. But this area which is being swept by this position vector would be equal. Now when the planet is here, then its velocity will become faster, but the area swept by the position vector would be same if the time duration is same. So we can say that this aerial velocity of the planets around the sun will remain constant. Third law is the law of the periods. The square of the time period of revolution of a planet is proportional to the cube of the semi-major axis of the ellipse traced out by the planet. Now, semi-major axis. For example, this is the ellipse. This major axis, which is the larger diameter, and one is a smaller diameter. This is the major axis. This is major axis. Semi means half. This is major and this is minor axis. Now, as per this law, the square of the time period means time period is what? Time period of revolution means total time taken to complete one revolution around the sun. So square of the time period of a planet is proportional to the cube of semi-major axis. Generally this is 2a. It is denoted by 2a. So semi-major axis means half of 2a is a. So the square of the time period of revolution of a planet around the sun is proportional to the cube of semi-major axis of the ellipse traced out by the planet. So this is the law of periods. So the three laws given by Kepler's, first law is the law of orbits, second is law of area, and third is law of periods. So these three laws are given by Kepler for the motion of the planets around the sun. So next topic is universal law of gravitation. What is this law? Every mass in the universe is attracting another mass with some force. This law will give you the magnitude of the force between the two masses. So every body in the universe attracts every other body with a force which is directly proportional to the product of their masses and inversely proportional to square of the distance between them. So F is equal to G times M1 M2 over R squared. So proportionality we have removed from here. So F is directly proportional to the product of their masses. If the two masses, they are attracting each other with the force between them is directly proportional to the product of their masses and inversely proportional to the square of distance between the two masses. If we are having two masses here, M1 and M2, and R here is the distance between the center of these two masses. So this is R. And this force is always attractive in nature. And this is the central force because this force acts along the line joining the two masses. And third property we can say this is inverse square law because you see this force is inversely proportional to square of the distance between the two masses. So this is a basic law of gravitation, means every mass or every object which is having mass is attracting another object having mass. Now what is this gravitational constant? The constant of proportionality in the last law, this G, this is the gravitational constant, and it is a constant, universal constant. Its value will remain constant throughout the universe and its value is 6.67 into 10 raised to power minus 11 Newton meter square per kilogram square. Now very important topic we are going to do, acceleration due to gravity of the earth. Acceleration due to gravity. You see, we know that earth will attract the objects towards its center. So it means any object which is being applied by the force of the earth, gravitational force of the earth, then some acceleration is going to get produced in that object, and that acceleration is called acceleration due to gravity. So let us consider we are having a point outside the earth. Suppose for simplicity I am going to consider earth to be spherical. If you see, if any object is lying outside the earth, the gravitational force is just as if its entire mass of the earth is concentrated at its center. Now you see, if this small mass m is lying here and I want to find out the total force of earth, I will consider that whole of the mass of the earth is situated at the center of the earth. So this ME is the mass of earth, and let us consider this is situated at the center of the earth. So what is the distance between these two masses? That would be the radius of the earth. So we can simply find out the force between these two masses having the distance RE between them, and using the simple law of gravitation, Newton's law of gravitation, we can find out the force between the two masses. One mass is very small object mass which is outside the earth, and whole of the earth, we have assumed that whole of the earth mass is situated at the center of the earth. So you can use the law of gravitation. Mass is product, ME mass of earth, and M is the mass of an object lying on the surface of the earth, RE radius of earth which is treated as the distance between the two masses. masses. The acceleration experienced by the mass m, which is usually denoted by small g, is related to force by Newton's second law by relation F is equal to mg. So this F is equal to mg. So let us substitute F is equal to mg here. So this m is going to get cancelled both sides. So you will get this small g. So small g is g me over re square. So this is the expression for the acceleration due to gravity. Now you can see this mass of earth constant, radius of earth constant, this g is also constant. So you will get a constant value of g, and on the surface of earth its standard value is considered to be 9.8 meter per second square. Now you see, this acceleration is not remaining constant. Acceleration due to gravity above the surface of earth and below the surface of earth. The value, this value we have calculated, this is on the surface of earth. Now if you are going above the surface of the earth, then its value would get changed. When you are going below the surface of earth, then also acceleration due to gravity would be changed. Now we'll see how this change is taking place. So first case we are going to discuss above the surface of the earth, means we have taken some object of mass m above the surface of earth at a height of h. So let us consider this mass is lying here at some distance h from the surface of the earth. So here we can consider a point mass m at height h above the surface of earth as shown. The radius of earth is re. Since this point is outside the earth, its distance from the center of the earth, total distance, because again we will consider that whole of the mass of the earth is situated at the center of the earth. So this total distance, that would become re plus h. So total distance between the small mass m and mass of earth is re plus h. If Fh denotes the magnitude of the force, the point on the point mass m, we get, so here what is the total force by earth on this mass? Same formula we are going to use here. G times product of the two masses divided by square of the distance between the two masses. Square of distance, distance is re plus h. So this we have got for the force, expression for the force between the two masses. One is small m and second is mass of earth, which is situated at the center of the earth. Now acceleration due to gravity, same formula we are going to use. Force per unit mass, or simply mg we can write here. So gravity at a height h is g times me over re plus h square. So here you can see denominator has been increased by this h term. So acceleration due to gravity at height h is always less than the acceleration due to gravity on the surface of earth. So you can see here h is very much smaller than re. We can expand the right hand side of that equation using this. So here I want to tell you how this is expanded. So this expression can be written as g times me over, so you see re we are taking out of this bracket, so re square, and this can be written as 1 plus h over re square whole square. This is h over re and whole square you will write here, and this term you can take to the denominator, and this can be written as g times me is the mass of earth over re square 1 plus Re, h over Re raised to power minus 2, because we have taken this term to the numerator. So we have got this term. So GME over Re squared, this is what? This is the acceleration due to gravity on the surface of Earth, and 1 plus h over Re raised to power minus 2. Now you see here we can apply binomial theorem, because h is very small as compared to radius of Earth. Radius of Earth is too large, 6400 kilometer. So if h is having smaller value, so this h over Re would be very less than 1. So using binomial expression. So here we are going to neglect the higher terms. So in physics I have already told you that how you can apply binomial theorem. You have to bring this power here at the center. So bring it here, because here we are going to neglect the higher terms. So only these two terms we are going to retain. So what you will get? G times 1 minus 2 you will write here, h over Re. So in this way you can apply binomial theorem in physics. Generally in physics we are going to retain only two terms and we will neglect the higher terms because of this approximation that this h over Re is very small. So square of this term, cube of this term, fourth power of this term we are going to neglect because they have very small values to be. So that is why we are going to neglect the higher terms. So what you have to do, you have to bring this power here at the center of these two expressions to apply binomial theorem, and using the approximation that we are neglecting the higher terms. So we have got this value. So acceleration due to gravity at height h is approximately equal to g times 1 minus 2h over Re. So this equation tells us that for small heights h above, the value of g decreases by a factor 1 minus 2h over Re. But this condition, always keep in mind, this is for small heights. If height is very large, it is for example Re over 2 or Re over 3. If it is comparable to radius of Earth, then we cannot use this approximation. We have used this approximation for very small value of h. But if h is not that small, then you have to use this expression. Only this expression you will use to find out the height of acceleration due to gravity at height h. But if this height is very small, a few kilometers as compared to radius of Earth, then we can use this formula to find out the acceleration due to gravity at height h. Now next is acceleration due to gravity below the surface of Earth. Now if you are going below the surface of Earth, this is the surface of the Earth, but you are going below the surface of Earth through a distance d or depth d, and you are here. Suppose any mass object is placed here at some depth, then what would be the acceleration due to gravity? That we are going to see here. Let us consider a mass point mass m at a depth d below the surface of Earth, so that its distance from the center of the Earth will become Re minus d. So this distance, obviously it is reduced by d. This total is Re. Now the point mass is lying here and the whole of the mass of the Earth is supposed to be at the center. So it is here. Now the Earth can be thought of being composed of smaller spheres of radius Re minus d and a spherical shell of thickness d. Now you see, when the mass is here, now this portion of the Earth is not attracting the mass towards the center of the Earth. So this portion of the Earth, this mass of the Earth is not attracting the small mass m. So we will neglect this mass. We have to concentrate only on the mass of the Earth having the radius r minus d. Only this portion of the earth is attracting the object towards its center. So what we are going to do here, we are going to apply this approximation. You see, I want to find out the mass of this portion of the sphere. How can I find out? You see, if I am taking total volume of the sphere, mass is me. If I am taking this much portion of the volume of the sphere, mass would be ms. So ms mass is attracting the small mass point towards its center. So we can write here one method we can apply here to find out the mass of the smaller portion. So how we can write? If the volume is 4 by 3 pi r cube re cube, mass is me. If the volume is smaller volume, I am not going to consider. If the volume is 4 over 3 pi r minus re minus d cube, then mass is ms. So you see here this ratio is taken. Ms over me is equal to 4 by 3 would be cancelled. So re minus d cube over re cube. From here you have written this relation. So we can find out the mass of the earth, that is ms, smaller sphere mass we are going to find out using this expression. And only this mass ms is going to attract the small mass m towards its center. So force on the point mass is g times ms, you have to consider, into m over re minus d square. This we have used a simple formula of gravitational mass formula we have used here. Now you can substitute the value of ms from the last equation we have written here. Ms is what? Re minus d whole cube over re cube into mass of the earth. So this we are going to substitute here. G times me m into re minus d over re cube. So this expression we are going to get by substituting this method. So we can substitute here the force on the mass when it is placed at the depth d. So g, so ms we are writing me into re minus d cube over re cube. So this is the expression for the mass ms into m over re minus d square. So this is already there. So one of this term would get cancelled here and we are left with g me m into re minus d over re cube. So this is cube here. So this expression we have got here. Now if you want to find out the acceleration due to gravity, you will simply divide this expression with the small m. So you will get the acceleration due to gravity at the depth d. So this what you will get, this m would get cancelled and you will get gme over re cube into re minus rd. Now what we are doing here, g times re minus d over re. You see, you can write this re cube as re square into re. So I am writing here, you can write re here and one term you can make it square. So what is this? This is the acceleration due to gravity on the surface of the earth. So for this value we can substitute g and what we are left with re minus d over RE. Now taking RE from here, and this expression can be written as G times 1 minus D over RE. So this is what? This is the expression for the acceleration due to gravity at depth D below the surface of the earth. Now it means here you can see here this is not exactly equal to G. This value is also less than the value of G. It means the acceleration due to gravity is maximum on the surface of earth. But if you are going above the surface of earth or below the surface of earth, acceleration due to gravity will decrease. So here this expression, final expression, we can write GD is what? This is G times 1 minus D over RE. And what was the expression for the acceleration due to gravity at height h? That was G times 1 minus 2h over RE. So you can see here, whether we are talking about height or depth, the acceleration due to gravity will have smaller value. So that's all for today. Thank you.